Direção aqui cantou que a galera já tá no ponto.
Será?
Será?
Então vamos lá.
Podemos chamar?
Vamos lá. Agora a gente vai receber aqui no palco os produtores de Rebel Moon, Wesley Kohler, Eric Newman, Deborah Snyder e o diretor, Zack Snyder!
Zack!
Well, I have to start with just saying that when Netflix called us and said, well, what can we do this year? And I just said, Zack Snyder, Rebel Moon. Yes. That's it.
That's awesome.
So thank you very much for all of you to come here and bring the movie Rebel Moon. People are watching there right now, and I know how excited they are inside. So thank you very much.
And not just being here and talking to us, but also shooting some scenes with people in the real screen of Rebel Moon.
That was fun. That was fun.
Did you really do that?
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, I did do that.
It was fun. Did you find some Rebel Moon material among Brazilians?
I actually did. These guys did a great job. They were really, it was really fun.
All right.
Deborah, you have to share your love for him with everyone around here. But let's talk about Rebel Moon. This is a mix of a space opera with the war movies, and this movie comes with influences from Western. We can see a little bit of Seven Samurai there. We can see lots of different words that are in his mind, and then you guys happen to make it, like materialize it. How hard is this work?
Well, we've been talking about making this film for about almost as long as we've been married, right? Yes. And I do think it's an accumulation of all the things that Zack loves, but also I think having worked in the DC universe for a decade and doing a lot of world building really prepared us to do something that was wholly original. So I felt like this was the right time for this to come to fruition.
Fantastic.
All right, and Wesley, given the scope of this movie, how did you choose what you were going to shoot in actual sets and what you were going to shoot in the digital screen?
You know, I think like any movie, it's the same process, just scaled up. So, you know, we sit down, we go through, break down the script, and during that process start to assess what makes the most sense in terms of, you know, what can we accomplish in green screen, what do we visually want to capture practically in the camera. So I think, you know, just like anything else, it's a, you know, scene by scene conversation and looking to see what Zack wants to accomplish and how to do that.
All right.
That's pretty good.
I don't have one.
No, that's true.
And there are so many different accents in this movie, and you have to make them, and that helps to create these different words, right? How do you guys cast each piece of this ensemble, and how to train them to have the right accents, and what kind of energy do you want them to bring to the characters?
You know, Zack is known for his authenticity. You know, these details are incredibly important. The training that the actors go through, physically, mentally, linguistically, as you point out, you know, they're learning languages that don't exist, and they're created, and they're consistent, and it's incredibly challenging, and he somehow keeps it all in his head and is able to impart it to us, but also to the the artists who help prepare our cast.
And Zach, I think a big part of the fun of making a movie like this is that you get to cast like in a ship or in a quest. You have the misfit, you have the good-looking guy, you have the comic relief, you have... How do you choose the guys, the kind of people that you put in a cruise or in a ship, in a quest?
Yeah, I feel like for this movie, what we did was like, I said, okay, you know, what is the like ultimate team? Like, how do you build them? And basically by sort of deconstructing what you would need in the end as a coherent team, you could break those pieces off and make each one of them into a character. And I think that's kind of the way we first started talking about it. And then eventually, you know, once you have that little piece, then you start to like build a backstory, and then you start to understand the actual complexity of those particular characters. So, and it was fun actually then when you actually get the people to play these parts, and they come naturally with some of the accents they come with. You know, like Sophia's accent or Jaimin's accent, and Charlie did Irish, you know, in the movie. It's just a real cool, it also starts to build culture in your mind, you know, about like who are these people, where they come from, what is their backstory, what is their actual, like, what motivates them, what happened to them, all that. So yeah, it's a really interesting process, but it's also having the gift of their natural cultures is really makes the film richer and the experience richer.
We go through very different words here. Just pick one word that you like the most for each one of you. Which word you like the most?
I guess if I'm going to start, for me, Welt, which, you know, and I think it's because it's our entry point into this greater surreal world. So for me as a movie watcher and an audience member, it's a way to bridge the gap between my earthly life experience and trajectory and bridge into this big science fantasy world.
I love Dagus, I think, because of its aesthetic and also the sort of, you know, ecological statement that's made in a place that's been destroyed by mining, and I thought that was incredibly authentic and beautiful.
We meet King Levitica on a planet called Charon, and he has this giant squid face, and we started having budget problems, and it was always like, we're gonna kill King Levitica, and I was like, we are not killing King Levitica. He's so important to the movie, and he's so sympathetic, and he's such a beautiful creature, so I fought for him to stay in the movie.
Debbie saved the king. Debbie did save the king.
Can the father of the worlds can pick one kid?
What's that?
Can you pick one, just one?
One world. I like the interior of the Dreadnought, personally. I know it's really a world, but like, I just love the hallways and the aesthetic. It's kind of like a Soviet-era submarine, and it's just like really cool. It's just fun to, you know, when you make a space movie, you gotta have like some weird hallway sequence in these big, long hallways. That's what you dream, like, you know, when you're a kid, like, you're like, oh, I want my bedroom to look like that. So I think it's just fun. It's just fun to shoot and fun to be in there, yeah.
And now we have to share you guys with your fans. People are going to have some fun with you, taking pictures.
Oh, take a picture.
Some photographs. Zack Snyder, Deborah Snyder, wow.
The fans are incredible!
Awesome, thank you guys.
Thank you so much
Thank
for being
you so
here,
much.
guys.
Thank you
Thank you
so
very much.
much
Thank you.
for the warm welcome.
Can you take a picture over here? Zach. Good job. We lost him.